Bishop G2 by Magnus Carlsen. This is must-win situation in Champion Chess Tour Chess.com in Armageddon. Hello, my fellow chessers. I'm gonna show you the chess game between Magnus Carlsen and Alireza Firouzja in Champion Chess Tour Chess.com in Armageddon, my fellow chessers. And Magnus Carlsen must win in this situation, my fellow chessers. Bishop G2. Oh, so let's get started from the top. Wait a minute, my fellow chessers. So d4, d5, c4, e6, knight f3, and then knight f6, g3, and then d takes c4, and then bishop g2. This is Catalan Open close, my fellow chessers. So let's continue the game on c5, and then bishop, queen a4 check, my fellow chessers, and then bishop d7, and then queen takes c4, and then b5 attacking the queen on c4. Let's continue. So queen c2, and then knight a6, and then castles king side, and then rook c8. Oh, threatening this side. C takes d4, so let's see. So a3, and then c takes d4, and then queen d1, and then knight c5, and then knight takes d4, and then e5, and then knight f3, and then bishop e6. Ooh, and then queen takes d8, and then rook takes d8, and then knight c3. Knight b3, threatening the rook on a1, at the same time threatening the bishop on c1. So rook b1, and then rook b1, and then what? Rook b1, and then bishop f5, threatening the rook on b1. Knight takes e5. Ooh, rook takes b1, and then bishop c6, and then knight, and then king e7, and then knight takes b1, king e6, knight d3, then knight d4, threatening or attacking the bishop on c6, and then knight f4, and then king f5, and then bishop g2, g5, attacking the knight on f4, and then bishop h3. This is mistake. I know. The mistake is gone. The mistake is bishop g2. The best continuation on this position is what? Wait. Bishop h1. That is the best continuation on this position, my fellow chessers. So let's continue the real game. So bishop g2, and then g5, and then bishop h3, g4. Good move, and then bishop g2, bishop d6, and then knight c3, then rook h e8, and then f3, and then bishop takes f4, and then f takes g4, and then king g6, then bishop takes f4, and then knight takes e2 check, my fellow chessers, as you can see, and then knight takes e2, rook takes e2, g5, attacking the knight on f6. So knight g5, bishop c1, good move. At the same time, defending this pawn on b2, my fellow chessers, defending the pawn on b2, as you can see. And then knight e3, ooh, threatening the rook and bishop. So bishop f3, rook, knight takes f1, then bishop takes e2, and then knight d2, and then h4, a6, and then king f2, and then f6, and then g takes f6, king takes f6, and then g4, king e5, and then king e1, then knight c4, and then bishop e3, then rook c8, and then bishop d1, rook d8. Mistake. The best continuation on this position is what? Knight d6, my fellow chessers. Knight d6. So let's continue the game. So rook d8, and then bishop c2, and then rook f8, and then bishop d1, knight d6 mistake. The best continuation on this position is what? Knight, rook f7. That's the best continuation. And then let's continue the game. H5, and then knight c4, and then as you can see, bishop c1, king g4, and Magnus Carlsen is must-win situation because this is Armageddon, my fellow chessers. And in Armageddon, white must win, I think. A5, the takes, the g4, and the bishop e6, then rook d6, bishop f5, and then rook g4, something like that. I will continue. So, and then after king g4, and then Magnus Carlsen is in the game. Why? He will lose the game even though draw, my fellow chessers, as you can see. And if you take this, and then we have example here. Alireza Firouzja, he will take only the pawn on b4 and it will end in draw, and then Magnus Carlsen will lose because this is Armageddon, my fellow chessers. Armageddon is must-win situation if you are white. But let's see the time from the beginning or from the top. As you can see, my fellow chessers, the time is, as you can see, not equal. In Armageddon, time is not equal if you playing Armageddon. But white is a must-win situation because if you draw the game, you will lose the game in Armageddon.